we do the
Hello,
perfect recording.
Gareth from the iMoot team. It's my great pleasure to welcome our sponsor, Guido Hornig, who's going to talk about iSpring. Thank you for the second time you presented, so a lot of effort, a lot of good time gone to it. So thank you, right? Away you go, Guido.
Yeah, thank you, Gareth. Yeah, I used Moodle for a long time, and I also created content a lot for Moodle, and I use several tools, and today I want to introduce one tool that I think everybody knows, but maybe not for e-learning content creation. I want to introduce PowerPoint using iSpring to create SCORM modules and other things. One question is, do you use PowerPoint for content creation? Just type a yes or no in the chat, please. So you use it a little bit, okay. And how about Janice? It's so difficult to talk if there's no response. So I'm very happy for any response I get. Okay. Yeah, PowerPoint has a bad image for presentation. So I offered you a link in the course to a TED talk about PowerPoint and how to use it much better. So, I think I adapted some of the principles already, but I don't want to talk about better presentation. I want to show other sides of the PowerPoint tool. And now you can decide if you want to see my presentation first with some features of iSpring, which is, I think, very helpful to bring PowerPoint to Moodle. Or if you want to see what I found out about PowerPoint, how to create things there, which are very helpful. So type a PPT for PowerPoint or type and nothing if you don't want me to do the presentation first. Okay, I do a presentation, and yeah, I do Moodle, WordPress, and use iSpring to create e-learning solution for some clients. And I think it needs to be tools. I want to use tools that are fun to work with, because otherwise my job would be very boring. And iSpring is a good partner for me. It's an international company. Some people work in Russia, some in the US, and they provide this software a long time now, and it's not a beta or test thing. It's really very stable and can solve lots of things other software cannot. They have big customers. They focus on education with their product. They have customers in lots of countries, but most of the customers are in US and Europe. And there are some in New Zealand, and my iSpring map is the only one with New Zealand because they missed it. I added New Zealand to the map because on iMoot, New Zealand is very important, I think. And who uses iSpring? Some of the professional content developers use it because it's a very fast tool, but also people who do not regularly produce e-learning content. And this makes it very interesting for my LMS customers. And after using it for years, I became a distributor and I'm very interested in the next development of iSpring also, and I think it's really a good addition to all the tools I use. If you install iSpring, you will get a tab in PowerPoint, so it's always there when you use PowerPoint. If you install the free version, you will also get a tab here and a ribbon with all the functions. And I want to go through the functionality with you. If it is too fast or if you have questions, please type in the chat. And hello, Richard. Thank you for coming. Yeah, iSpring can very accurately create HTML5 and Flash from all the fonts and styles you use in PowerPoint, also shapes, the pictures, also the filters which can be added to pictures in PowerPoint, audio and video, and nearly all animations, and which is very helpful, also the triggers. And maybe some of you have already worked with triggers in PowerPoint. Also the hyperlinks can be used and all the transition effects. There are also some combinations which will not work, but if you need help, the support can show you ways how to create the wanted effect, maybe in a different way. But there are very few. I have never found something which doesn't work for me, so I'm very surprised. Maybe I do only very boring animations, but it works. The next thing is that there is a presentation explorer, and the presentation explorer creates hierarchical outlines for you. So you can have many levels of PowerPoint slides, and you can also do the navigation inside of such a PowerPoint stack like you want to have it, and the iSpring will support you with it. And you can also use branching scenarios. You can use the quiz, the quiz inside of iSpring to do these branches, or you can do branches by links inside of your slides. And the conversion from PDF to big blue button PDF have some problems here. Okay, and then a very good functionality in iSpring is that you have a recording of voice and video inside. You can play your presentation. You can use this button for the next animation, for example, and the animation events will also be recorded. And then you get the presentation synchronized with your animation. And in the next step, you can change the animation events and synchronize them with the voice and with the video. And there are some tools to help you with the synchronization. When you ever have tried to do this in PowerPoint alone, it's really a difficult job. With iSpring, there comes a quiz builder, quiz maker. It has a number of types of questions, like drag and drop, or sorting things, or filling in gaps with words. I think Moodle has some more types of question, but this is not the, I think it's not the question who has the more question types. You can use these questions inside of your presentation. For example, you add a question every 3 slides, and then you can wake up your learners to answer some tiny questions. And some research shows that interruption of a presentation helps much more than a continuous presentation. I was very surprised. And my clients believe that these interruptions needs to be some questions, but it can also be something like untie your shoes or stand up, run around your chair and sit down again. All these interruptions will help to learn better, I read, and also real questions. With this question module, you can do much more. And I have some examples here. You can export your questions. Here's an example for a question. I added this question also to the course. You can export from the quiz maker to Word. Why should you, oh, excuse me, my voice is gone. Why should you want to export a quiz to Word? Because you have some participants who are not able to use the computer and they want it on paper, or you have both in the class. And this Word export is really good. I was very surprised to find it last week, I guess, and I have never seen it before. So this Word export is really a good functionality. And inside of the quiz maker, you also have the possibility to activate some quiz result per email. Let me go back one slide. So when you see the possibilities to output, my English is not very good today. Okay, if you publish the quiz maker, if you publish from the quiz maker to your LMS or to the web. For example, if you publish to the web, you have no LMS, so you don't know where do the answers go, but you can add an email address inside of the quiz maker, and then you will receive an email if someone has attended the quiz. Maybe you can add one question, which is, please type your name, and then you will receive not only the email with all the things he answered, your learner answered, but also with the name. But in Moodle, for example, we have an LMS, so the name will be already inside of the results. Or if you export, the quizzes to the LMS, then you get a SCORM or IFF module, which will also be accepted in Moodle, and you will get the result into the Moodle. Yes, then there are other interactions possible. For example, a book with very beautiful pages, turn pages. Maybe sometimes this is a solution for a number of pictures and text. Then there's a functionality called timeline, and it's very easy to make attractive timeline slides with it. You can use timeline for really historical events, but also every process needs to be explained in a timeline, and this can help you. And it's interactive, so when you move with the mouse over the events, you get other things displayed here. Then there's another interaction called directory, very similar to the Moodle's glossary. And there's another one which looks very much like Garrett's course with the open and close parts. They call it the FAQ. So you can create, collapse topics, thank you. I'm sorry. These are the interactions, and they are in iSpring Suite and not an iSpring Pro, which is a smaller version. The next very practical things are the characters. I like the characters very much because they can add some personality, some to something more realistic to this session. Even if you don't have real voice, you can add the presenter on some slides, and it comes in a lot of emotional states. So you can add them to the quizzes and respond to wrong or right answers. And there are a number of these characters with different professions. A doctor, a nurse, someone who looks like a lawyer or a professor, or many things. Many characters, and you can buy more characters at the page of eLearning Brothers. Maybe you have seen this already. You can embed YouTube videos into your slides and other web objects like Wikipedia webpage, for example. And you could, if you switch off the X-frame protection in Moodle, you can add a Moodle site to your PowerPoint in iSpring. I don't know if this helps, but it's possible. And also Flash movies can be added to the PowerPoint slides. All this will be converted to HTML or Flash or both, and can be played on nearly all devices. When it comes to the publishing from iSpring Suite, there are a lot of options to the web, on a CD. So for some historical style computer-based training, you can also use these models. iSpring offers also their own learning management system and a cloud to share these presentations. But for our learning management system, we have the possibility to export to SCORM 1.2 or to YouTube, which is also very interesting to have a YouTube export from your PowerPoint without using a video recording software like Camtasia. I also use Camtasia, but this functionality helps me to really very quickly export the PowerPoint to YouTube. Any questions until here? So please ask or interrupt me if there's anything funny in my English, for example. Yeah, here's the slide again. Published to YouTube is very effective. And when you publish to LMS, you get a player called the Universal Player, or just the slides with no user interface. Then you have to click on the slide to get the next one, or you get a player, and the player can be modified. Here are some examples for the templates. You have the slide and other areas. Here's a Chinese version. You can change the layout a lot. You can add different colors to the buttons and elements. You can add a presenter video, and the user can decide if you want to have the presenter video in the big screen and the presentation here, or the opposite side. This can also be changed if you use a mobile phone or tablet. You can always switch between the video or the slides. You can add the company logo or use this field for any other tricks, because every slide has its own logo. Then there is a field for presenter info. And here also, if you prepare for a number of presenters, and these presenters will be stored in your iSpring, and it's very easy to select the presenter again and have all the contact information. So it speeds up your work. All these fields can be in the layout, but they can also be links on top or below the presentation, so that they don't eat up so much space, but they can be used. The outline is very useful. Maybe I go back to another one. Yeah, here you can see 4 slides of the outline, always with a thumbnail of the slide, and you don't have to care to create them. It's done automatically. Very helpful. Okay, so this is the customizable player. All the presentations created with iSpring can be shown in browsers on the desktop. It also comes with an exit player if you don't want to show it in a browser for some reasons. They can be shown on tablets. I haven't tested with Microsoft, but I think they also can do it very well. Tablets can use the Flash version or the HTML5 version. They differ, not acknowledgeable from each other. This is on a smartphone. Yes, the Presentation Explorer gives you some control about branching the player layout. It gives you a timing overview. You have the navigation control here. For every slide, you can change the navigation if it should be manually or automatic or timed. The branching, I mentioned the branching already. And you can change the headlines of the slides. When the people who did the slides forgot to add a headline, you can add one in the presenter, and can be different for the outline than the original headline. There are some protection features. You can add watermarks, passwords. You can restrict the time. For example, this module can only be used after June 1st and only until June 30. And you can restrict these modules to a domain. So when someone managed to download it, you never know how, then he cannot use it on other domains, and he cannot use it even on a local computer, because then he needs to have the permission for local host as a domain. There are 2 different kinds of iSpring software: iSpring Suite with interactions, characters, Quizmaker, but iSpring Pro already has the 100% conversion, the Presentation Explorer, multimedia management, and one of the very good features is this narration manager, where you can synchronize your slides to the audio files you create or include. What is the difference to PowerPoint? You get the possibility for online viewing on websites and in learning management systems. You can add quizzes. I think this is the most important difference when you compare this form of slideshow to a YouTube slideshow, for example. And you have learning statistics if you export it as a score module. You can also you can get the number of slides viewed by the students into your learning management system. So you can see if they have seen half of it and how much time they have spent on each slide. And definitely the quizzes are also reflected in the learning management system. Yeah, I think I skipped the other advertising slides and go to my PowerPoint part of the presentation. Any questions to iSpring at that point? Maybe, I guess Ralph is already looking Tatort. Billiard lost his audio connection. And how about Jeremy and Richard? Have you switched to another browser or are you still here? Okay, thank you. Fine. I'm sorry, I didn't want to be unpolite, but you get so few impulse from the audience when you present online. Thank you. Yes, any questions? What do you want to see live? Maybe this is a good possibility. I can show you iSpring in the desktop sharing window. Let me show you something I prepared for the PowerPoint things. Oops. The iSpring 7.1. Jeremy asked which version I'm using. It's 7.1. Yes, and I can show how to create a quiz. You can always download a demo version or a trial version which works for 1 month without any restrictions. I put the link into the course. It's already there. And there are also free versions. And maybe some, you're lucky. If there are, there's also a free version. I think 2 years ago, there was a restriction on the free version. You were not able to use it in a commercial environment. But now the free version has absolutely no restriction. You can use the output everywhere. And I think this is already a good start to understand how it works. Let me check. I have the free version here. If you open the desktop sharing, I think you can be able to watch me. If I publish here, it can generate score, but is it HTML or is it, I don't know, sorry. Yeah, maybe it's only Flash. That can be true. I will ask someone and then come back with an answer there. But so the iSpring suite is definitely HTML5 or Flash or both. But is it here? It says here free PowerPoint to Flash conversion. Yeah. And it's iSpring free 6. Yeah, maybe that's also. Yeah. So I want to show you something I do with PowerPoint. And where is this? So I have an empty slide. Yeah, there's Windows, but only Windows, because you need the Office 2010, 2007, or 2013. We can have a look if they have some Mac products also, but I think it's really Always is email. Yeah, you. Okay, here's the iSpring free, and it says it's also HTML converter tool. Yeah, many people have a Windows installation on their Mac. Maybe this is a solution, but I can understand that you want to work with Mac when you have a Mac and not Windows. So when you have a normal PowerPoint and you have a field with some information, some text, and this text is half of the information, and then you want to add some more information, you can add kind of a button. Maybe we call this button more. Oops. And then I create a field with just more stuff. Oops. And this will, and I want this one opens when I press the button. I can do this in with the animation functionality of PowerPoint. So first I animate this one, how it should appear. I use just a simple fade here. Oops. And I get the animation here. And then I add a trigger to this. And maybe you have seen the trigger button, but never used. And then I can select from the elements I have here. If I have only 3, it's easy to find out which is my button. But there is a wonderful function in PowerPoint which is not very often described, and it's called selection pane. Maybe you have seen it before and used it. And this selection pane, oops. Hey, I want to make this smaller. In this selection pane, you can rename your object, like in the real software. Nervous system. Okay. And with the selection screen, you can also switch on and off things you see here. And they can disappear from the presentation, or it's very practical if they can disappear during work with the presentation. And now I have renamed this one as the animation, and I add to the animation, I add the trigger. And now I can select the button, which makes it much easier for maintenance than have names like object 1, object 2. And this is already finished, but I remove this on click here. It should come with the previous one. So now I switch to slideshow, and I'm afraid this will be in the big monitor show. How to use current. Let's see where the slideshow goes. Oh, it goes here. Perfect. And if you click the More button, you get this pop-up. And now you have it. And the next step is, how can I get rid of it? Because if you click now somewhere else, you will go to the next slide automatically. Okay, I close this. And to add some more, you need a way to remove this from the screen. So you need another animations. Don't make the mistake and select the animation here, because this will exchange the animation you have already. You need to select the object and then use the Add Animation button. And yeah, we use Zoom away for close. And I add a trigger to this one. And when I click on the More text field itself, then this one will close. So I have one trigger that shows the field and one trigger that closes it. And again, do the slideshow. And I can open it and click again, and it will close. As often you want, without paying more. Okay, with this technology in the background, you can do something like questions. For example, this one. And I again do the slideshow. Is iMoot a conference? And should I press yes or no? Which do you like? A, B, okay. Okay, we do the no button. iMoot is an online conference, it says. So I can use the reset button to reset it and try again. Yes, it works, you're right. And it plays a small melody like in Mario Kart when you get some points. So this looks, yeah. Yes, I have used branching in iSpring. Until now, we do not use iSpring here. It's just PowerPoint. There's another question. Does the same. And this can, after you have set up this problematic trigger scenario, you can just copy the slides and get more out of it. Okay, I close the slideshow and will convert this with iSpring Suite into a web module. And I select LMS. We will not upload, but we could. And the question is, will our triggers work also in iSpring? And I check if I have protected it. Last time I protected it, so I could not play it on localhost. Okay, now if you export it to Moodle, important to take the zip output so that you get the SCORM zip module. You can add HTML5 or Flash or both. I publish this. Okay, now I get the player here. I make this smaller so you can see it on the screen sharing. Whoops, there's still a presenter inside. I don't want to have this presenter here, so I change the player. No, not this one, sorry. I use Citation Explorer and change to other presenters, for example, myself. And publish this. Okay, automatically get the outline of my whole presentation. The triggers still work, which is very good. Jeremy is asking how I get video as an output type on publish. That's a new function in 7.1, and it published directly to your YouTube account. From here, you can view this also in browsers which are installed on your computer, or you open the folder where it is stored, so you can drag and drop it to Moodle. You can attach it to email or use FTP. And you can also look, you can have a look how it looks on tablets or smartphones. And play here. Okay, then there was a question about the quiz maker. So maybe we should create another slide and add a quiz. And the quiz maker, so I can distinguish between graded quiz or just a survey. And I open the drag and drop word quiz I have created already. I can't make it smaller, so the app I'm sharing is then the quiz maker. Yeah, this is my question here, but I will create another one. There are groups of questions. There's a welcome slide, which can easily be changed. You can add pictures, audio or video to a quiz slide. I will add another slide in group number 1. And maybe we take a matching one. And maybe not so many. And yeah, match item 1 with and match it with match 2. I think this is clear what it means, and you can easily change the text or add pictures. So we add New Zealand here, and the match should be New Zealand, for example. Okay, and now we can use this as a preview. Start the quiz, and I can use this for matching and submit. Because I'm wrong there, but there are still more attempts. I end up with correct, then it goes to the next question. The iMoot is a Moodle conference about online learning and New Zealand. Also wrong. Continue, but here I can do this correctly. Okay, yeah, and I can view the results, retake the quiz, print my results somewhere if I want to, and finish. Okay, and there are many options I can change. Then you can also have questions randomly selected. You can say a number, always 1 or 2 or 3. I think randomly from 3 is not so important. But if you want to have always two questions together, you can link them. And now if one is selected, the other will come with this question. And the order is already clear. So this is a very complex, maybe it was a customer request, but the linking feature is there. Okay, and then you can save this to PowerPoint. And if you publish this, it will not work with video. The quizzes are not in the video. So we are only Jeremy, Richard, and Gareth now. Any more questions? Do you want to have more information? Before you buy a license, ask me, because I have the best ones. Okay, it's our quiz, and yeah, it's random. Yes, I use it for commercial. I don't use it in I'm not working in education. I have no education. Wait a moment. I have one commercial example for sales training. And what I do is I add 2 slides. Oops, wait a moment. To the slides, I add some synthetic narration. Sometimes the customer has said, this is now finished, we can add a natural narration. And here I've done something with the PowerPoint audio interface, because this audio interface cannot be converted into any HTML or Flash. And if you want to know how to do this, you can download the original presentation here. What it does in the, should I continue here? Yeah, that would be interesting to see. Thank you. Where's my slideshow here? Ah, wait, I have the wrong use presenter view. I think now I can, no, primary monitor. How to make this presentation show up in the small window. No, not like this. Excuse me. So just breath and read. This mainly helps. Current resolution, primary monitor. Maybe not use presenter view. No, still the big screen. Animation, show media controls. Custom slideshow here. No. How to make the slideshow only show in the window. For the other one, I was able to do it, but is the resolution? No. Set up slide. Here we are. And I set it up in an individual window. I'm sorry, make you wait. Okay, so this is what happens when you, the presentation, when you start it, it gets the text, it reads the voiceover, and at one stage you will be able to, oh, wait a moment, I do it again. Here, so it shows the text, the voiceover is reading it, another sentence, then it says find out more about complex sales, and when you click on it, you get the pop-up window, and if you don't if you are too lazy to read this, you can also get the voiceover here. And in Microsoft PowerPoint, there's a special audio interface, which also shows you the animations, but this will not convert into HTML5. You can close it. But when I convert this into, don't save. Sorry. I get a little bit bad now, I think. Too much iMoot. Where's my sales example? Example sales. You convert this with iSpring. I need some other kind of animation for the voiceover, and this is important that you do this. And if you select the audio element in PowerPoint here, then you get also triggers for, or animation. It's in the animation. Let's see where I can find this. This makes it a little bit more difficult. Yeah, I don't do anything. iSpring does it for me. It converts the audio to HTML5 and it works. I don't know how they do it, but they can. Okay. So if I select the audio thing, then you also get animations for audio. And this is important that you put a trigger on the pause button, on the pause animation, and add a trigger to one of the elements, and I use this red button to close the animation. And now I show you how this works in HTML5 or Flash. Publish this one. Let me check. No, I need to check here. Anything. Yeah. You will not hear the audio in the presentation, but when you go to, it's now talking. So when I click on it, I get the pop-up. And if I click on the speaker, the voice starts to read again, and I have my own audio interface for start and stop here, using the pause trigger or close. So I like these pop-up very much. They need some work, but okay. Yeah, Garrett told me, now we are at the end already. Any more question? You will find some examples, and if you want to work with it and have some trouble, please ask me. Yeah, thank you for spending an hour together with me on a Sunday. And yeah, thank you, Gareth, for the moderation.
Hi, this is Gareth from the iMoot team. Thank you, Guido, for another, especially the second time. A lot of work clearly gone into your presentation, and a lot of explanation. Please do ask questions in the chat. And once again, on behalf of the iMoot team, thank you very much, Guido, for not only presenting, but also for sponsoring iMoot.
Yeah, it was a pleasure for me. Thank you, Gareth. Yeah. Enjoy iMoot. And I think we can stop recording because you have already asked your questions.